Hello add-on users, Hexagonal here. This video is an overview of everything new in Scratch Addons version 1.44. This update is coming off the heels of version 1.43, which was released a little over a month ago. Editor here, that's a slight lie. I recorded this video like 3 weeks ago, and I haven't had the time to edit it until now. So yeah, sorry I'm late. There's a couple of pretty big updates in this version, the first of which is a brand new add-on. We have the Recolor Custom Blocks add-on. This is brand new in version 1.44. If I leave it off and I go to the My Blocks and make a custom block, this is the modal dialog that we're all familiar with. But if I enable the add-on, you can see it gives me this brand new little area down here. And what this area lets me do is actually change the color of the custom block. For example, let's say I have a custom block to say a message. Let's say I have a custom block that'll say a message. You can see in vanilla Scratch, you can only have the pink color. But with the add-on enabled, you can change it to, let's say, I want it to be the say color, the purple one. So I can change the color of that. You can see it looks purple. You might notice it says looks here because it uses the colors that are defined by the block categories. If I go into edit and if I change between the colors, you can see up here it has the different block categories. You can actually do a custom color by putting a hex color code. You can click this option, it'll give you a color picker, and this will let you generate any color you want. And you can change the custom block to, let's say, this nice little pink color right here. And oh well, I mean kind of low contrast there, but yeah, you can have a pink custom block now. And this is helpful for differentiating different custom blocks. So I can create another custom block, and that way I can easily differentiate between the two custom blocks. Now if I zoom in, you may notice there's this little text here. This is functional, this is how the add-on works. It is annoying, but fortunately there is a setting in the add-on to disable that. If I go into the add-on settings, you can see there's this option called hide color prefixes. So if I enable that, you can see it changed something here, and look, it hides the color prefixes. So you can have the custom color custom blocks without the prefix in front of it. However, if I edit the block, you can see in the block name it still has the prefix. The prefix is just hidden in the code area. The Debugger add-on received a ton of new updates. There's a lot of new settings, and there's a slight redesign. If I open up the Debugger in the new version, you can see the buttons that used to be up here have been moved down here. This is what they look like in the old version of Scratch Addons. The Debugger window is now resizable. You can just resize it from this little corner here, and you can make it as big as you want and as small as you want. Also, there's a new tab called the Timing tab. The Timing tab contains a ton of the new features for the Debugger add-on, notably the timers. Let me show you how those work. Let's say I have this script right here, and let's say for whatever reason, I want to know how long it takes the Scratch Cat to make this entire rotation. What I can use is, I can go into the Debugger category, and there's these two new blocks, the start timer and the stop timer. What I do is I take the start timer, I put it at the start of where I want to start my timer, and I put the stop timer block at the end. So what it'll do is it'll start a timer here, run all the blocks in between, and then stop that timer. And you can see, if I run the script, and down here in the debugger, it gives me a timer. And you can see it's labeled with the label that's inside both of these. You have to name these the exact same thing. And it'll show me the total time. So it said that the total time was 800 milliseconds. That's 0.8 seconds because there's 1,000 milliseconds in a second. And you can see you have some other columns. These other columns are more useful if you're running the timer multiple times. For instance, if I put all of this in a forever loop, and you can clear everything here by using the clear button that's at the bottom. And if I run it again, we'll see Scratch Cat will keep running, he'll keep spinning, but now I have some more statistics. I can see the total time that the timer was running, and I can see the average time that the timer ran for each iteration, and I can see how many times the timer was called. This percent time column is useful whenever you have multiple timers. For instance, let me duplicate the script right here. Whoops. You can see I have two timers, they're labeled as you can see. If you know how this feature works, this should be incredibly useful for you. The Debugger add-on also has two new settings that are related to the timer. For instance, stop previous timing on start timing. If I turn this on, what it'll let me do is, if I have a timer that's running in a loop, I can actually get rid of the stop timer, and it'll stop the timer as soon as it reaches the start timer block instead. And the second option is you can show the percent time as a ratio instead. If I enable this, you can see this column over here, it changes to a ratio instead of a percentage. Okay, I'm actually going to show you an example of the timer in action. So here I have this very complicated project I made a long time ago. I don't even remember how it works, but let's say for debugging purposes, I wanted to see how long it takes for each iteration of this draw block to run. So what I can do is I can take the start timer block and the stop timer block, wrap that around, and now whenever I look at the timer tab of the debugger, I can see the average time, and you can see this actually increases if I was to add another draw block. If I clear it, you can see it goes up to 20 milliseconds. If I add another one, clear it, 30 milliseconds. So this is very useful if you're trying to do debugging. Another new feature of the debugger add-on are these two buttons down here. You have profiling, which when you click it will show basically every single block in the project that runs. If you know how to use this, you go, yeah. You can actually export all of this as a CSV file. So yeah, now I have all of this data in Microsoft Excel. If you really need all of this, then I guess it's useful for you. In addition to the profiling, you also have a heat map. So if I enable this, you can see it now highlights all the currently running blocks. It's a blue color if that block doesn't run often, and a red color if it's a block that runs really often. In a nutshell, this will help you find any potentially inefficient code. It's also worth noting that the heat map will only show for all blocks if you have the profiling enabled, so make sure to turn on the profiling if you want to use the heat map. The old Studio Layout add-on now supports mobile devices better, i.e. it's more responsive. If I enable it, this is what the add-on does in normal desktop browsers, but now if I was to simulate a mobile device, you can see if I shrink the window size down, it's now more responsive. For reference, because I know some of you are probably wondering, this is what it looked like before it. A total mess. You can see if I shrink the window down, it looks horrible. Oh my gosh. So yeah, definitely a change for the better. Two add-ons got slight visual tweaks, the custom editor snapping and the onion scanning add-on. These are the add-ons that add two buttons down here. The tweak is that now instead of a weird ambiguous icon like before, it's now this arrow, which indicates that it opens a menu. Small change, some add-ons received some info tooltips on some of the settings. Previously, these did not exist. As always, there are a few bug fixes. Some of the add-ons got broken after the face sensing update. That's the main reason this update was released actually. And there's a few other small things you can see here. Plus, there was a patch update, version 1.44.1. There's a few bug fixes in that. That's everything new in version 1.44. As mentioned before, this is preparation and hotfixes for Scratch's face sensing update. Also, sorry for being late with this video. Midterm exams were a right pain and I didn't have the time to edit until now. Plus I needed to re-record some things. Several times. I also did some different things with the editing in this video. I promise that wasn't the reason this video took so long, okay? Anywho, this has been Hexagonal. I will see you next time. Oh, I need a nap.